not the most winning hero in their other series, but it's looked good. They always manage to draft around utilizing the Warlock Fatal Bonds. I think they've convinced me that this hero isn't dead. It just looks insane when you play it. And, you know, Fatal Bonds, it's not like it's been buffed up at some point. It's just been nerfed. Like, it was nerfed, what, 2-3 years ago? Warlock dies, and it's just kind of there. And they're still managing to utilize it really damn well. So I think as long as Alliance can clump up Deathball and just not get caught out by, say, a big Epicenter or a big Requiem, or some great rolls coming out here from Copy, you're in a very happy spot for Alliance. They're scaling. It's much more consistent. You've got the data to back you up. You've got this Bristleback as well, who can still scale like crazy. Very interesting here as well for Skylark. He does go for the Snot Rocket Facet. So most of the time we've been seeing red on the cores, but you have at least consistent minus armor and slows being applied by Skylark when he is up front. That means no burst damage though, so maybe not the kind of play you'd want with the Fatal Bonds, but just more control to tie in. The potential there might be so fun. The goo plus upheaval sounds crazy.
I think because you want to play very aggressive, so I think it's the right choice to just go for Snot Rocket instead. Because you could just be so aggressive with this facet. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's like, you said it as well, right? Like, if you can channel an upheaval on top of it, just nobody's going to move. Everyone's just going to be minus armor and nobody's going to be moving, which is going to be incredible to watch if it does happen. Let's see, though. At the very least, I do agree with the facet choice of Skylark this game. I think it's going to be definitely the preferred choice. Of course, though, Jonathan, we'll start off with the mid lane. You're going to see Copy versus Mobay. Still should be a decent lane for the Pango, but it is against the Graded Treant, so, you know, Mobay should have an advantage no matter what.
They should still be able to control that lane. I don't think it's as soul-crushing as it once was. You know, the damage output of the Treant isn't as amazing. It's still manageable enough for Copy. The one thing to be worried about are those denies for Mobay. That doesn't change too much. Copy at least always has Swash and will have Shield Crash at some point to just bail out. I'm very curious again what Copy decides to build. With the Bristleback being offlane, perhaps the Diffusal isn't as big of a deal, so you could maybe afford to just go for your typical Echo Saber or just a Blink Axe Rush.
Gunnar gonna die. Nande able to secure first blood on the Dragon Knight already. So already a very strong start here against the side of Nouns. And I believe Lelis, he was going for a creep pull. He was just trying to drag the wave back towards their own tier 1 tower, and he does get away with it now, but it does cost the life of Gunnar.
That level 1 time for Sand King, not the comfiest. Already have that laning sentry as well. Spot out through the Sand Shroud. So not going to be the safest. This is going to be a very comfy lane for Nande, of course. You've got the healing to back you up here from Kidaro. You've got some cheeky enough plays with Fatal Bonds. I mean, you do have some cleave damage on hand. You've got Breed Fire, True to Creep Wave with Fatal Bonds on a hero. It is nice and consistent damage here from the side of Alliance, and there's not too much you can get done with Lelis. Allowance, I don't know.
You short on money, John?
Yeah.
you need an allowance, do you?
I could use something else entirely from someone else. Still, you know, it's going to take until maybe level 3 here for Nouns to take their allowance from Alliance. There you go. That's what we say.
Very good, John. I mean, I'm making fun of you. What's the odds I call Nande Nando about 20 times this game? Probably very likely, isn't it, John?
Yeah, you are very likely. You're always hungry, Michael Phoenix. To be fair, that chicken is pretty damn good. I will give you that.
It's been a while since I went there, I must admit. Has been a while. Top lane, a bit of a jump onto Yuma. Desire does not hit level 2, though. Ooh, it's a bit of a missed opportunity. If you had Bushwhack, that may have actually been a good attempt at Yuma's life. But, well, now he has level 2. So if he lands a Bushwhack, they probably could choose to get aggressive. But it does seem like Yuma now probably going to be pretty well aware that he needs to be a little bit cautious.
Yeah, just play a little bit further back. We've been seeing Skylark just running forward, popping that Viscous Nasal Go, knowing that he wins the economy trade in terms of mana cost. It's still fairly costly for the raises to fly out while you're running up. And it's still level 1 raises as well, so that is your window of opportunity to kind of get that done. Still seeing pressure on Gunnar down bot once more, and not much you can really do for Lelis to relieve that pressure. Gunnar has gone for Sandstorm and Stinger, so a 0-2-1 build. No way to try to go burst strike in and try to play with a Stinger. Just a little bit more passive for Gunnar. Into this lane, again, Nande is going to be very happy just farming up. This is a strong start for your scaling DK already.
Yeah, Gunnar's having a really bad time as well. He might actually just be dead. Yeah, he is. Kadara with the Fatal Bonds and the level 2 Shadow are just doing so much work here down at this bottom lane, and Gunnar can just, he can't lane. I mean, you can already see Lelis just stacking up the triangle already, so, you know, it is what it is. He's going to have to catch up farm eventually for this Sand King, but that is if it doesn't get intercepted.
Yeah, you're going to have to do some scouting work on lines. If they can get the space out, we haven't seen that be a top priority for a lot of teams. At the very least, they might be able to get away with snagging the large camp. That might be enough to just damage some of that early tempo. A little bit of poke up top here.
Ooh, Skylark. Gonna get hit by a blood grenade, but he's alright. Instead, Desire is the one that looks like he may go down, because Yuma just waiting for a raise, but 2 evasion. He evades 2 hits from the SF, which is very unfortunate. And that was a 15% chance of that happening, apparently, on each hit, so there you go.
All skill. That's called skill from Desire. You know, he desires to miss a shot, he will get it. It's in the name. That's all you need.
It is.
2-0 start for Alliance. That does force a full reset for Skylark. He's forced to walk back. Again, still stuck at level 3. Doesn't have Bristle back up yet, so he's not popping goo off everywhere just yet. He did opt to go for 1-2 for, again, a little bit more of a run-forward presence here on the Bristle. But so far, the lanes for Alliance, again, looking pretty damn strong. Safe lane is going nice for Nande. Mid lane for Mobe, matching up nicely against this Pango of Copy. Although Copy, again, isn't lagging too far behind as you'd see before. He is matching in denies and in last hits overall. So you're going to have that timing into level 6 here for the Pango to play with. Curious to see where the first roll is committed. They're still pressuring onto Skylark. Has to be a little bit cautious about wasting some HP. As Yuma now with level 2 raises can threaten the kill if he does go too far forward.
But I do appreciate how aggressive Yuma has been along with Fly. Like, they have constantly just been harassing Skylark away and just not allowing him to really start to dominate the lane. Especially considering Desire has left to just try and secure power runes, but nothing going to spawn nearby, sadly, for Desire. Copy will be able to pick up a very nice regen rune for himself in the Pangolier, and he does have that level 6 mark. So he could think about trying to go for a kill across the map somewhere. He could even think about Mobe. But instead, for now, he's going to hold out and just farm a little bit more. Though Lelis has come to set up. But the MP has already left the building. Meanwhile, Alliance trying to take some stacks away, and Kadara's just basically doing it on his own. Oh, you love to see it. It's working out very nicely for them. Gunner's going to rotate eventually. And does get some of the creeps, but it's still pretty rough here for Gunner.
Yeah, not the best feeling in the world. And they did rotate a couple of heroes onto mid right as the TP was up from Mobe. They do isolate Skylark for a moment.
Well, the Snot Rocket saves him. Yuma could not keep up with him after all those goos came out. Instead, they're going to have to settle for Desire. Nice Rolling Thunder here from Copy. And he will be able to secure the kill himself. So a nice little rotation from the Pangolier. But they do miss... Oh, the Bristle. I was about to say they missed out, but Skylark just ran back into them. Because he's got no TP, apparently. Whoopsie daisies. Skylark having to run the old-fashioned way, and sadly just forgot to buy an extra TP. Warlock, Golden Drop is there. Yuma in big trouble. He's going to try to fight back, but realizes he cannot get away. He will die. And that was the Black Grimoire committed by Kadaro to allow that Golem Drop.
Yeah, opts to pop it early, wants to play momentum for his team, of course. I do want to point out as well, when they were clearing the stacks, that was why the Wrath of Nature was popped. They had Fatal Bonds up in the stacks. I'm surprised they didn't scout forward into the Ancients to try to clear that out as well. But happy enough with at least one of these stacks being taken out early. That did lead to no presence coming out for Mobe to help up top, but still, with the Golem up, a little bit of a steady siege that you don't really have an answer for here on Nouns. Looks like they're just going to have to give up on this top lane and allow Alliance the space to kind of try to contest top form. Cut off the source for Yuma's scaling timing. you know, into that usual Dragonlance, maybe Mask of Madness coming out here for the right-click SF, and just kind of put a dent in it. Still, Gunnar does manage to clear out the Ancients, still in a happy place for the Sand King, despite maybe a bit of a slower laning start. Number 3 in that fort right now for good old Gunnar, rushing the Bloodstone. So we'll want that added AoE first and some Sustain True. Again, tying into the strengths of Nouns draft. You've got a Chen, eventually Fly will find a mech, and of course have Hand of God. With a Bloodstone up on top of that for Gunnar, it's going to be pretty difficult to kill off the Sand King as long as he's in the Sandstorm and if Epicenter is running as well.
Oh. Pidaro taking a bit of damage mid lane, but he's going to be alright. Wrath of Nature going to clear out most of the creep wave, but Fly is going to bring his own small army in. So it seems like they are going to make the attempt onto the Prophet, but Mobay is able to get out just in the nick of time. And of course that tier 1 mid tower, it's not really taking too much damage here from Fly. Again, the creep wave was cleared out by the Prophet, so really nothing to be done here, but they are still looking for a fight. Desire desperately trying to get the D-ward off, and does. But gets a bushwhack on a copy to boot. But copy easily gets the swashbuckle to the low ground, is going to be just fine. But the attempt onto the mid tier 1 tower, which is what Nouns really wanted, is not really working out.
No. And this is, again, just space out. Free space for Nande to farm down bot on the DK. Very fast farmer, of course, with that cleave, with a splash damage on the Fire Dragon. No one contesting. You've got room now for Skylark to start building up as well on this Bristle, rushing a pipe after the Power Treads first. So he's going to have a little bit more presence as well once that's up and running. Is still playing a little bit forward here, though.
They do find Skylark. Requiem, it's not really doing too much. Skylark actually still running. The Snot Rocket just pumping out all those Goose, and Yuma, I think, has just killed himself here. They'll get Skylark, but it's not really worth the trade at all. And oh, this is why I like this Snot Rocket facet, John. You try to jump this guy, but with a Prophet who can TP in whenever, it's very hard to not die with him.
Yeah. You just kind of melt. You have to respect the minus armor, the added max goose stacks you have. And you really don't have any items right now on the SF to help with that durability issue. Maybe a little bit unfortunate. Desire finds both kills, but we are used to seeing this from Desire on his Hoodwink. Again, I recall a game that we were watching from Alliance where Desire was, what, 7-0 in the first 10 minutes? So the investment in him is not the worst thing in the world. He can and is going for that Atos to try to get some early hold to provide some additional control for his team that they do lack outside of Golem and Dragon Tail here. And that is going to be a big boon for Alliance to try to keep that tempo up. Still a little bit of a smoke out from Nouns. We are getting Diffusal build up for Copy, and see if they can get a movement out here with Gunnar joining in.
They're going to try and wrap around into the triangle. They barely missed out on Mobay. A lot of stacks being taken here. This is the perfect time if they can intervene. They are going to make it to the high ground, though. Gunnar does have his smoke broken. He is just going to take the Watcher. Rolling Thunder was popped by Copy, and it's not really going to matter at all. And they won't be able to really contest the Ancients either, as they were already taken here by Nande. And now Alliance, seeing the Rolling Thunder down, they want to try and force a fight. But Nouns have successfully retreated. But Alliance get away with pretty much all the farm they had in that triangle. So nobody really loses. I suppose Nouns do waste a bit of time in a Rolling Thunder, but that's pretty much it.
And again, you're pretty happy here on Alliance. You're just free farming on Nande. Even if they try to move forward, they can't really catch you out. Good defensive wards being set up here from the side of Alliance to just watch into that ramp area just a little bit. Even down by mid as well. It's just very hard to try to smoke and force it and break it on the ramp. Enough time to respond there for Alliance. And they're getting some free room out for Skylark to, again, try to scale up on this Bristle. Bottom net for core right now, but Bristle doesn't take too long to catch back up. I do like that Nouns has been identifying this Bristle as a weak point up top. It just feels like they need a little bit more before that movement is necessarily a safe move. They just need a little bit more burst damage. Again, we haven't seen big commitments out yet from Gunnar outside of that smoke play that doesn't line up to much. The Bloodstone just basically one part away now. So that key timing is going to be online at that point. He probably still needs a blink, considering that gap close isn't particularly amazing, and you kind of need to pop Sandstorm in the right spot. And that blink is a little bit more necessary on the Sand Shroud facet because, well, you're committing to an area straight up instead of just being able to run up with your Sandstorm. A 5-3 start in this slower game is favorable for Alliance. Nouns still has their power spikes lined up, of course. You have scaling left on your Shadow Fiend. You still have this full defusal to come out from Copy, which can simplify the chase down and prevent the spell spam coming out here from Skylark once that's up and running. You do have some to sustain slowly being built up, level 6 up on Fly. He is opting for the drums first over the usual mech rush we see on our Chens, so not as much sustain as you'd want to see perhaps here for the side of Nouns, but a lot more potential with a push at the very least, which, again, we are still kind of lacking on Nouns. Tier 1 bot is still standing somehow. Mid, they've poked it a couple of times, still very healthy. Need to start finding some objectives here soon for Nouns, just to, again, apply some pressure onto Alliance, because they're just farming into everything very well.
But they are. Alliance getting pretty much everything they could ask for in this game. It's going to be scary. In the next 5 to 10 minutes, Alliance should be pretty confidently moving onto Nouns and trying to get some aggressive plays going. I mean, they've already got the blink on the way for Nande to boot, so the initiation is online now for the Dragon Knight, so he can always join his team if he does wish. Just pick up an amp damage rune. Lelis will throw out the Demonic Purge, but there's going to be no follow-up to it. Yuma is kind of nearby Skylark, so they could think about the Bristle, but Skylark lets him know that he knows he's there. And we saw what happened last time. Like, Skylark's probably the last guy you can really confidently jump as 2 or 3, because he can just turn with his team after the Snot Rocket does, you know, kind of kick in. And they are actually going to go to a smoke here for Alliance, so it seems like maybe they want to try and use Skylark as bait. There is going to be a scan on top of Alliance, but I imagine Nouns might just assume it's the Bristleback. But Nouns, they are retreating into their own dire triangle, so not really allowing an opening for Alliance. In fact, they're going to smoke up themselves now.
They've got that Bloodstone ready on Gunner. They want to reveal it in a massive way. Just need to get that catch in.
Well, here we go. I mean, they're coming right into Gunner, who could get a very nice Burrow Strike. Nande gonna move into the Sand King. They will stun up the Dragon Knight, and Nande, already losing half his HP to the epicenter, is just getting deleted. Oh my, that was not anywhere.
Wait, just need to get that catch in.
Well, here we go. I mean, they're coming right into Gunner, who could get a very nice Burrow Strike. Nande gonna move into the Sand King. They will stun up the Dragon Knight, and Nande, already losing half his HP to the epicenter, is just getting deleted. Oh my, that was not anywhere near as hard as I thought it would be. The DK Warlock are both gone, and well, that'll open up the mid-tier 1 tower now. They even have a siege creep to abuse here. This top lane, they're going to try and jump Skylark, and Skylark this time around would not have the help incoming. In fact, Copy was the one who had the help.
Yeah, it's down to just these item spikes again for Nouns. They get the Bloodstone plus this full defusal up for Copy. Just a really strong defusal game. Cutting off the support spell spam, cutting off the Bristle and his threat with Quills. Just simplifies matters greatly. Mid is being sieged. There's time for a TP and the deny from Desire. Fortunate for Yuma not getting cleanup, but still opening up the map. This is something we needed to see from Nouns, and they do manage to take that 2k lead away. This is when we need to see Nouns just constantly play around their cooldowns now. Whenever they've got Epicenter or Rolling Thunder, they've got to look for kills.
Mabay looks very dead here. If they can find him, that is. Lelis not getting very lucky with the Shadow Poison. Oh, he barely gets it now, but it's too late. You know, funnily enough, that was the change that was recently made. The vision with Shadow Poison was reduced by 100. And that actually cost Lelis, because the first one he threw was right on the edge of finding that profit.
Yeah, might have been enough to just get that targeting out. Gunner was just there ready with a Burrow Strike. Miss out on a pretty big kill, but they are still getting that invasion off anyhow in the jungle, pressuring down bot, shoving into waves. There is still some breathing room here for Alliance. It's a little bit more clumped up, of course, and they are still needing a lot more. At this point, you're probably almost considering BK Beazle, though.
They'll make a jump on the Pango. Copy does not get the Rolling Thunder. Wouldn't have mattered anyway, of course. He was still just guaranteed to die to the right click of Nande. A very nice kill, though, for the side of Alliance, able to pick off the mid Pangolier, and this is their timing. This is when they want to be aggressive, so they will start to move on to that tier 2 tower, but the Glyph is going to force them away.
Yeah, just play a little bit cautiously. Again, there is some concern for, say, if Gunner and if Yuma manage to line up the Epicenter Requiem. It's just an overwhelming amount of magic damage. Your pipe from Skylark is almost done. so that can help mitigate some of it. My bigger concern for Skylark is still this defusal coming in from Copy. Like, yes, it's still annoying getting free goose being launched at you, but without the follow-through of this Quilt Spray, the Bristle alone can't really soften you up for the rest of the team. The minus armor still plays nicely into the NP, but whether or not you have enough damage when there's turnaround potential from Nouns at that point remains to be seen. Still, pipe fully done now, as mentioned for Skylark. And for the side of Alliance, I mean, they still have Chaotic Offering. Again, there was some hesitation last time around from Kidaro while we were seeing Nande get jumped. So they do still have their one big team fight spell ready. They just need to kind of find an angle in. Their forward vision not really showing them too much just yet. The side of Nouns still trying to get that scaling onto Yuma. Would love that Ags as well and Copy for even more diffusal swashes in the middle of these rolls. Almost at the timing as well for Gunnar to have that full Shivas. Again, not opting for the blink this time around. A bit of a chase out.
Gonna get caught. Yeah, Bay just gonna jump in and easily catch Fly. Nothing he can do about it. Another nice pick off for Alliance. So he does make the wards pretty obvious here from Alliance, but obviously Nouns gonna have trouble to get there and delete them in time anyway. Mid tier 2 tower now under siege from Skylark. The top lane, they have made the jump onto Nande, who's been kind of left alone. Desire's the only one there trying to help him out. They will try to TP the Prophet in, and in fact, Nande, he's still just going to survive anyway. They never really got the epicenter off for Gunnar, so the damage output was not high enough to take down Nande. And in the meantime, the T2 mid tower does end up going down.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to just, again, needing this Ags up and Copy to actually have some more swash damage done. Him alone is not going to be enough to get commitment out from Gunnar. It's a little bit more difficult. Again, without a blink, they have to be already in a position where Gunnar can just walk up Burrow Strike. And it was just a little bit too far out. The DK just a little bit too tanky. And that's without inting like the full Sanj up. That's without inting like a BKB even being formed up here yet by Nanda. He only has the Yasha blink plus an armlet to toggle true. So slightly concerning for the side of Nouns, but still in a, again, a very even game so far, 7-6. I just feel like if Nouns don't start to take these fights in the next 5 minutes, you start to get a little bit concerned for that timing into the late game.
Well, now he's looking to go maybe through the bottom lane and hunt down Mobay. He's going to try and go through the twin gates, and looks like, in fact, he's not even going to twin gate. He's just going to teleport with his own spells, and Nouns not able to find the kill they really wanted. They could look to start setting up for the tier 2 bottom tower, but it is still pretty early for that. Roshan's also an option for Nouns, and they are in position to try for it, and it seems like they will. You do have an SF after all, so it probably will advise you go for the early Roshan attempt. And Alliance, they feel like they've got the style of draft to try for these Roshans themselves, especially around this timing, but they are going to go for the Tormentor instead, and it seems like they don't really have an idea that Roshan's even happening.
Yeah. It's not the quickest Rosh for the side of Nouns, but they've got enough space and time to just clear it out. Again, this is big for Nouns. It allows them to play into their earlier power spikes with that quick BKB up on Yuma with the Aegis up as well. So this is when we need to see Nouns again work it up against Alliance. Alliance just free farming are already 3k ahead. You are again getting a lot of space to try to scale up in Skylark. He is just going full Aurus on her Bristle. So just wanting to tank through everything, maximizing the Snot Rocket, getting those debuffs off for the rest of the team to clean up on. Nande is probably already just has enough for the full Sanj and Yasha out. We'll actually go back for the BKB first. I like that switch up here on our DK. Understands it's really only magical burst and the chain stuns that can kill him off. With a BKB up, you're cutting into a lot of your damage output on the side of Nouns, and you're not going to have the control to deal with that DK. So, again, for the side of Nouns, this Aegis needs to line up to more than just farm here. They are looking to pressure onto mid, maybe get a swing around up towards top, but they are just poking at a greater Treant that they do convert. Still enough information for Alliance to bail out. And if you don't start to find something in the next 4 minutes with the Aegis up, again, I just don't know what you do about this DK late game. Like, yes, SF scales, but we've seen it happen before when the DK just free farms into, say, a Daedalus down the line. It feels near impossible to stop a DK once he does get that farm going and, say, 40 minutes in. That's a scary point for Nouns.
Well, it doesn't feel like Nouns are intending on waiting too long. I'll tell you what, they go through the tier 1 top tower, and it seems like they'll stick around for the tier 2 top tower here with Yuma. Nice and easy with that lasting presence. Well, the tower's gone, John. It doesn't seem like there's much of a defense to come. They will use the upheaval of a Kadaro, send some minor imsim, but that's going to be about it. They freely allow it to go, is now top lane. They're having a look for the bristleback, but Skylark does get the TP out. And again, Alliance, they are not chasing for any stragglers. They're just allowing Nande the space. Of course, Nande and Mobe both farming very, very efficiently right now. BKB up on the Prophet, and now they'll go for a gank attempt. Smoke is up. Mobe just waiting in the fountain for the TP in. And in fact, Yuma is the closest target to them, but now Gunner is. So they've got an option for the Sankey. They're avoiding Gunner for now. Keep in mind, he does have the Bloodstone, but they are going to jump in with the stun and try to blow him up ASAP. Heals do come in, but it's not enough. A very strong pick off here for Alliance.
Yeah, a rather unfortunate one for Nouns to lose as well. They do manage to get Fly's gem off the back of that, passing it to Gunner because he's the tanky front line. And they lose 900 gold on top of that kill, and now you can just kind of clean up the map off of this forward vision that Nouns we're trying to set up and find a tier 2 off the back of it. And I just like this read again from Alliance. They understand what these BKBs do for them. There's no threat. Like right now, your damage is just really Requiem Epicenter. The right clicks of the SF, not really scary yet. Yes, the minus armor does help buff it up. It's not like the instant burst damage that you're seeking out here on Nouns when these team fights do break up. 6k lead building up now for Alliance, and Nouns for their part, despite taking tier 2s, have just not been able to find the pickoffs to allow more pressure in. They don't care for the map being shrunk down just a little bit here on Alliance's end. They know how durable they are. They know how much their Nature's Prophet can just split push as well, be a nuisance around the map, giving them room on the other cores to just farm the opposite side. And for Nouns, again, they still have Aegis, but it's only a minute left. Yuma now is going for a break source with that Silver Edge. Issue is you can only break one of two heroes, either the Bristle or the DK. If you don't break Nanda, he's going to be tanking these fights. If you don't break Skylark, you have to deal with Goo. And only breaking one of them just... it means you have to find them kind of isolated. So, which, again, has been a little bit of a struggle here for the side of Nouns to do.
Well, they are grouped up here, Nouns, but again, they're not really smoking up. They're just hanging by the mid lane to see if somebody will show up to go for an easy pick-off. Nouns, they're heading down through the bottom lane once again. Skylark is around the area, but he's not underneath vision yet. But he's running towards an observer ward, and it is his own ward anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And so no real action to come out. Again, both teams just seemingly avoiding each other for now. Alliance, though, is certainly starting to take over in the net worth department now, 4k ahead. In fact, make that 5. Nande still confidently sitting in that top net worth spot right ahead of Mobe. And Daedalus is up next for the Dragon Knight, so damage issues are slowly disappearing here for Alliance. You start to question whether Nouns are going to have enough in the tank to try and get through this later game. So the game pace has really started to shift quite a bit. And it looks like they are going to try for the bottom tier 2 tower. But I don't really see that changing too much unless they intend on going high ground anytime soon.
And they're not going to dig into high ground without that Aegis. Just expired on Yuma. Likely to just wait for next Roshan in 2.5 minutes. We'll see that timer, of course. Again, a steady siege coming out from Yuma. Not really any care on Alliance. They know what they can do. Just look at Mobe's position, cutting that bot creep wave already, preventing any sort of future move onto the high ground. You've got Skylark just tossing out the hairball to slow down the creep wave as well to clear it out before high ground can commence. Maybe a flank onto mid. This could be their opening here on Nouns.
They don't seem to want it though. No, they don't seem to really want the fight. They are backing off again. Very calm and composed style of game thus far. Just 8-6 is a scoreline here between these two teams. I think Skylark's almost got a full Crimson Guard up now. Like, you're going to probably start having damage issues on Nouns' end if you're not too cautious. MOUZ working towards an assault cuirass, so even more armor to come in. What have we got on Nouns? We've got a Silver Edge being built up on Yuma, so you're going to have that nice break against Skylark. Ags coming out for Lilith soon. BKB for Gunner. So nothing too game-changing apart from maybe the BKB for Gunner. The Silver Edge, it almost felt like they didn't really need it, in fairness. Like, Skylark's been dealt with quite a few times now in this game, and I don't know if they actually need the break, to be fair.
I feel like they still do. Again, it's when you go into these big 5v5s, yes, your teamfight control is great, but you have to contend with two heroes that are very tanky up front. This will help you deal with one of them at the very least, and just insta-burst them. I think the break's actually more important onto Skylark, because this Bristleback will get the job done even if he dies, as long as he's popping Bristleback. You take away that passive, then he's not applying Quill, he's not applying Goo, he's not applying minus armor debuffs to soften them up for Nande, or for MOUZ to prey off of, and you take away the impact of that Bristleback entirely outside of the auras. So it's still pretty necessary. I would say the big timing that Nouns had is actually this Blink and Gunner that they just farmed up during the Aegis. Again, just not able to utilize this jump in. They have double blink up on Pango Sand King. They're just not able to find any isolated heroes. Alliance, again, are not playing by their tier 2s. They're just playing the lanes, utilizing this NP, utilizing the fact that Warlock can also freely shove lanes with Upheaval and Ag Shard. And it's just hellish right now for Nouns. This is not a position you want to find yourself in when you've got two very nice tempo tanky frontline initiators and one sort of good scaling core on SF. Like, Yuma is just going back for the full Daedalus now over that Silver Edge, maybe recognizing that the break probably just won't help as much as they'd want, so try to go for the burst play. I don't know if that burst play is going to be enough with this Crimson Guard up and into the BKB for Skylark, with these BKBs lined up already on the side of Alliance. They've got Roche opened up for themselves here, with just the Chrysalis up on Nande and MOUZ showing up. Not going to take too long. Nouns still having to fix top lane to walk into that area, are showing mid instead. So it's going to be a nice second Aegis here for the side of Alliance with the Roche banner. One good team fight, that's all it takes, and you plop that banner down, high ground's going to be ripe open for you here for Alliance to take.
I mean, they could probably go right now if they really want to. I say right now, they might just wait for the full Daedalus to be up on Nande, which he's gotten about 100 gold. There you go, he'll have it up very soon. In fact, I said 100, it was 300. Math not doing too well today, but it doesn't matter, Jonathan. I mean, Alliance still well and truly in the lead of this game. And the game seems to have gone according to plan. I thought we'd see a lot more action around the 20-minute mark, but it just has not been the case. Alliance happily completely avoiding Nouns, and Nouns have kind of done the exact same thing. And now, with the Daedalus up on Nande, they are going to smoke. BKB in the backpack. So they'll just throw it back in after the Aegis is gone here for Nande, if he needs it. This Gunner, mid lane, has been spotted. They'll wrap around through the Dyad Triangle first here. See if they can find a squishier target. No one quite yet, but there's your jump in. Gunner, he gets a very nice bow strike to start, but he has still been caught. Here comes the cavalry to try to help him out, but Gunner is down. A great start for Alliance is now Yuma trying to run, but being slowed up so much by these goos. He'll get up to the high ground, but Lelis cannot say the same because he is dead. They go for more now. Skylark, still fine, but Copy gets the Rolling Thunder up, moving into the Dragon Knight, but where's the damage output? Nobody is there to do damage. Copy now getting Gleipnir up. Bushwhack not going to quite land, so he is able to get out of there. As now Gunner, he's going to pop the Epicenter, but the Gleipnir is going to lock him down and cancel it. So he never gets it off. It will remain off cooldown. And Nouns do successfully hold high ground. As Alliance, they've seen enough. They got a buyback out of Gunner. They'll come back another day.
They got buyback forced out. They forced out a couple of BKB uses as well, although they did have to pop MOUZ. Not the best situation for Nouns, and that's not even Gunner setting up for them, right? That Gunner blinked back from the lane right into that smoke, tries to burst strike out on top while the rest of Alliance were still there, and just gets bursted down. It's very fortunate for the side of Nouns that Kidawa just threw out the Golem very early on. I think if you held onto Golem when you killed off Gunner, that would be a different story on the high ground. That would definitely be a fight you take on Alliance to push for more. They'll play it safe. They know it's tin ice right now for Gunnar. It's going to slow down this BKB timing he wants to work for himself. And you are seeing the issues here for Nouns. Just, I get what, you know, I get why first Aegis ends up being a farming Aegis, but with this kind of lineup, it just doesn't feel good to play the farm game up against this draft of Alliance. 10k lead, 10-6, smoke out again. No chaotic offering, but almost unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to find a very, very free pick-off. Fly, unfortunately, running into the Dragon Knight. Copy's actually gone for a Rolling Thunder to try and escape from this, and he will immediately TP out. Gleipnir will not lock him down, as he had still plenty of time in the Rolling Thunder to get away. So Fly is down now, but he does have buyback. Alliance want to try and at least force that buyback. Here we go. Tier 3 tower under siege. Nande. He'll get a lot of work done here, but they are now lacking a creep wave. And that's it. They'll leave again. A very, very conservative play by Alliance, but it is working. And if it's working, John, you don't need to fix it.
I mean, you do have to fear the high ground defense potential of Nouns. Burst Strike Requiem can feel really good in that area. Gunnar.
Now, speaking of Epicenter, it does come in Kadaro. Well, he's going to die, but that's just a +5 Warlock. Kadaro, he'll just tank the gank, and there you go. He'll voice line him from the graveyard as well.
I mean, that's pretty massive commitment. It's not the longest cooldown in the world, but it's a minute 20 where you don't have to care for Gunnar's presence now, for the most part. Again, you're very reliant still on Magical Burst on the side of Nouns. One of your big Magical Burst tools is gone. So it's a very safe time for Alliance to just play their own game. 40 seconds until Aegis expires, though, so that window for Nande is closing out at the very least. And Nouns Nande's all alone. They're looking for a longer flank here.
No, not alone anymore. They are going to smoke up with Nande. Smoke on smoke scenario between these two teams. Burrow Strike is in. They've already found one in the Bristleback, and Skylark is getting a lot of goos out already. Here comes the cavalry to try and help him out, but Skylark is down. Meanwhile, though, they have caught both supports. Fly and Lelis both down now. Not a good start here for Nouns. They need to get the hell out of there. Yuma will TP away with the BKB, but the chase is on for Gunnar. Desire, he'll miss the bushwhack, but he's got the vision, so he'll get the Gleipnir off onto Gunnar. And Nande will be there to follow up, though. Gunnar gonna... No way. You're sanking TP. Sandstorm TP, rather, and it doesn't work. They have the detection. They'll get the job done.
You can just see the issues that line up. You jump Skylark, sure, but all of those quills coming out, the massive commitment you have to make just to kill this offlane Aura built Bristleback. It's just not worthwhile. The rest of your supports are left in the back. You're softened up for the follow-through with how long those goose stacks do last. And the idea from now on, it's missed its timing. Alliance, they have full control. I don't see any way coming back here for Nouns right now unless you get ultra farmed up on Yuma, or you just start to find some isolation plays here from the side of Alliance.
Oh, they'll get a range Rax, but they're not going to stick around for the melee barracks. Dragon Form on cooldown for another 20 seconds here for Nande, but they are just going to transition with the Roshan banner into the mid-tier 3 tower instead. Just protect the siege creeps is all they really want. And Nande is going to have Dragon Form back up in just a moment. Just another 5 seconds. So you can go all over again. Do they stay mid? Do they go high ground on the top lane? Bushwhack, not going to land on Yuma. Range Rax is down once again in the mid lane. And with the siege creeps protected, they can't really protect these melee barracks unless they go and deal with them. Nande's going to jump in. A beautiful bushwhack here from Desire. And Yuma is down a poot. Oh my, Nande is just feeling pretty uncontrollable at this stage. They're still going to try and fight here with Copy and the Rolling Thunder, but it's just doing not enough. Here comes Gunnar, but he's immediately jumped. The TP does nothing. More buybacks incoming from Nouns, but Yuma's here now. Oh, he gets the Requiem off, but it does nothing. Yuma will drop. That's a dieback immediately here for the SF. GG is called. Rampage for Nande to finish off this game 1.
Yeah, spectacular showing out from a you likely don't. So it's really difficult to see Copy getting punished too hard here if he does decide to go a little bit crazy earlier on. And I feel like that's going to be one big aspect for now. It's this connection for Gunnar and Copy. These two guys have to pop off and play a lot faster to apply that pressure onto Nande, prevent that scaling from the Luna to be actualized here from Alliance.
It should be an interesting game too.
Interesting.
If we see any early, yes, John.
We have the victory feast up, Mike. We don't have the no vision in arena, which is honestly, if you have no saves to block, it's pretty damn big. This additional regen, just how far forward Gunnar can play is kind of amazing. So I actually like this. I thought coming into this, we'd actually see a little bit more of this, considering, especially if you're not playing against something like, say, Shadow Demon being the big one. It just has a lot of leeway for the Mars. So I like this change-up as well from Gunnar, and that should mean, again, just more aggression can come in here from the end of Nouns once that blink timing's up.
Yeah, I do like that choice for Facet here for Gunnar. Makes enough sense. See, the sustain could be game-breaking as well in the right hands, and we'll see what Gunnar can get done with this Facet, as we are going to have a bit of a smoke break onto Mobay and Copy. Gunnar and Lelis, they've wrapped around through the Dire jungle. You are going to have Nande and Kadaro running towards them at the moment. I doubt you'll be able to really find a kill with just these two, though. It seems like they probably just want to get away with the bounty, and they were spotted here anyway, so Nande just going to kind of posture them away. Will still be a 2-for-2 trade on the bounty rune, so a nice even start. Because we'll start with the mid lane. You're going to have Copy against Mabay once again on the Tiny vs Storm Spirit matchup. Either way, I think this should be relatively even. Like, sure, you can kind of abuse the static slide to dominate CS, but Mabay's a Tiny with tree grab, so it'll be interesting to see who does get the CS advantage in this mid lane.
And it is. I feel like there is a window for Copy to kind of leverage this up against the Tiny. Level 3 spike would say a 1-1-1. You get the double overload, you get a little bit of free damage with a remnant, and you can slowly poke Mobay out by that level 3 timing. Level 1 to 2 should be fairly even. Again, you can just cleave through the creep wave, no problems from Mobay. Once he has toss, he can maybe kind of angle out. If Copy does step a little bit too close, chances are a Storm doesn't really need to do that nowadays with static slide, of course. So you should be relatively stable on Copy. I'm curious to see if we will see more emphasis on the water runes themselves. You know, like especially at the 4-minute mark, try to deny one off from Copy or Mobay. Can kind of change the dynamic on mid as well. We didn't quite see that opening last game around, as the side lanes were much more tied in. So I think if Copy actually gets a little bit more emphasis for water rune secures, it should be able to, again, start to set him up for a faster 6 here.
It's top lane as well. I mean, you're going to see Nande here along with Kadaro. Now, I wonder if they can actually kill Nande this time around on this Luna. Like, he is substantially squishier, I want to say, but again, with Kadaro around with Shadow Word, they may not even bother trying. Because it's just very hard to actually get the damage off, or at least chip away at Nande throughout this game.
And it can be. You do have some good poke potential here from the side of Nouns. With how close Nande has to get to CS, of course, you're in striking range for the Rebuke into the Spear. There's the Brambles that you can toss out to chain up. But the creep wave is in pretty good equilibrium here for Nande, getting some good control out. And again, you have the sustain coming out from Kidara to just help you anyway on Nande. As levels go up, of course, like say once you have your level 4 up with the 202 build, just even the slow poke out with Fatal Bonds can be quite annoying to play up against. If that is the way Kidara will want to do it, just shove out the wave. Can be one way to, again, make things slightly more uncomfy here for Gunnar.
That it is. We do have Yuma getting quite low down at the bottom lane. Skylark and Desire chipping away at the SFHP pool. They might even jump fly. They've got a full creep wave underneath this tier 1 tower. They've got the goo up on Skylark if they want to try and dive Yuma. But it seems like the low mana on Desire is kind of stopping them from trying to get aggressive. Had you had like enough mana for maybe a bushwhack, they probably would have made the jump in, but it seems like Skylark would rather just secure the farm for now. He'll pull a creep wave away. And I suppose it's fine considering Skylark didn't exactly have the smoothest lane last game around, so giving him a bit of a better start is probably going to feel quite nice.
And it will. Quicker timings on the aura buildup that we saw last time around for Skylark can activate Alliance a little bit quicker as well, so you don't mind that overall. And the kill threat can line up here from the side of Nouns. Disruption into Ray's setup is pretty sick. So you see some poke onto Desire. Not quite enough distance there for Yuma to leverage the rest, as it's right by the tier 1. But you can see maybe a smoother time overall for the SF as well, in comparison. At the very least, you're not going to get dived in as deeply by Skylark this time around in lane.
Mid lane copy's starting to get a little bit low. Mbappe has been relatively aggressive on this Tiny now. And Ande's farming very nicely as well in this Luna top lane, like 26 and 5 already in the CS department. Not that I'm exactly very surprised, because again, with this Warlock safe or rather POS 5 pick, it does feel like Nande can just stand very far forward and not really miss any CS. So already what's seemingly a pretty nice start for Alliance. It just feels like all the lanes are going pretty efficiently their way. Maybe the bot lane a bit slower, but even that's still going better for the Bristleback than it is for Yuma on the SF.
Yeah. Again, this is something that we've seen consistently out from Alliance. They just work their lanes out really well. They draft strong lane combinations that can hold up. And for now,
is up. Yuma's very far forward. He goes for the TP play out, but he can't make it. Desire and Skylark seeing the opening make the jump in, and the thing is, when you're that far forward as an SF, if you get caught with a bushwhack against this Bristleback, you are just gonna die.
Yeah. They get that timing perfect on Alliance, right as Fly's kind of trying to help up top, maybe looking for the setup. They notice the Shadow Demon's not around, they know there's no pull, so they figure Yuma's alone, we can punish. And again, like, we didn't talk about this too much, but Hoodwink plus Bristle, you can maximize the goo quite nicely with a physical output in lane for that Hoodwink. And Fly's just exposed to Bristleback solo. Not a fun time.
Oh, absolutely not. He's got no chance of really getting out of this one, poor old Fly. He's just going to die. Skylark taking the easiest kill of his life. And this is a substantially better start for Skylark here in this game too, which is kind of concerning if you are a Nouns fan. So again, Skylark was not having the greatest time last game in laning stage, but this time it has gone substantially better. And so again, Alliance having a better start than last game around, I would argue, apart from maybe the safe lane, though mid lane, Mobe will get jumped. Lelis is going to be here with the Bramble Maze, but Mobe is still just going to be able to juke them out. In the meantime, bottom lane, there is another chase on Yuma. And it's hard to see him getting away because he's got no support incoming. He'll try with the razors to at least trade. Skylark maybe getting low, and here comes Gunner. He's made it just in the nick of time. Even Nande getting caught now on the Luna, and this will be a huge loss for Alliance. Well, Gunner making it just in the nick of time, and even the arena drop now, but they do get copy out. Kadaro is the one in danger. Kadaro will go down, and even Mobe now rotating over does need to run. Luckily for him, he did have a haste rune, so he is able to get away. And Gunner didn't have enough mana to throw out another spear.
It's, this time around, good punishment out from Nouns. Getting that rotation out from Gunner, getting Copy in the right spot to start to get some punishment in. Fairly deep from Alliance. I think you would have been happy enough to just trade for Yuma, but Nande showing up as well without level 6. A little bit trigger happy right now in Alliance, and the punishment is severe. Still, Fly could be a nice freebie.
Yeah, it certainly will be a nice freebie. Mobe will happily take that kill. Now, already Nouns, they're a bit more kind of on guard for these dives for Yuma. So able to punish last time, but Alliance surely would learn by now that you can't dive that deep any longer.
Yeah, likely not to do that again. Maybe getting a little bit overconfident from how tanky Mobe has shown us to be, which just would grow up with the Craggy now at 3%. It is a little bit harder to try to chip down on that Tiny, but the connection's just, again, not lining up in the same timing you'd want it here for Alliance. It's providing a lot of space out up top now, as Nande can just hug his top jungle. No real threat onto the tier 1. So that is something Alliance has fallen back on, the safe farm for the Luna. With no rotations into that area yet, still fairly early in the game, you can just start to scale up on this Luna a mite bit quicker than the SF will be for Yuma down bot. And he has his own safe area to farm. It's just natural pace of the Luna certainly outpaces the SF. SF a little bit too reliant on the raises to clear out. Smoke out though.
Well, they have found Desire, so Desire's kind of going to give this smoke away. Still does get a bushwhack on a Copy, and Copy's running a bit low on mana now. But he does still secure the kill. onto the Hoodwink is now Gunner rotating him with a very nice arena, catching out two of them. He will go right after the Bristle to boot. Skylark will drop and Kadaro will closely follow. As Nouns, they will find another 3 kills down in this bottom lane. Tips coming out for Gunner.
And this is what we need to see from Nouns. This is what we need to see from them last game. More aggressive movement into the lanes, trying to shut down this aggression from the side of Alliance. You can see the just the counteraction of Morris into Bristle. As long as Bristle faces forward, you really don't care about Bristleback. They catch Nande out now as well.
Oh, they certainly do. Nande not going to be feeling too good about this. He'll pop the Eclipse, but it's not really doing enough. Golem drop is out. Gunner still alive, though. Still very healthy, and he'll find the kill onto the Luna. They're going to try and trade at least with the Mobe rotating over. And they will find both of them. So both Lilith and Gunner do go down off the back of the rotation from Mobe. And of course the Black Grimoire was committed so that Kadaro could drop that goal.
He actually committed it way earlier on. He used it as that gank down bot happened with Gunner's great arena coming out there. Didn't quite have enough EXP then. Does have it now at the very least to make that play.
Yuma?
Still pressuring bot though.
Yuma just gets deleted. The thing is, as soon as they know Gunner is down and he can't rotate to save him, they just jump immediately. Mid lane, Mobe, he's been jumped on this Tiny, but a very nice Avalanche going to put a halt to it for now. Disruption, though, will hold him down. And there is no escape now for Mobe. 4 heroes surrounding him, he will drop. Another nice pickup for Nouns, like they are trading very efficiently this game too.
And they are. They're starting to get that punishment on this timing that we need to see from Mobe. This blink is what allows Alliance to start to play around. Without that tiny blink, your initiation is pretty much non-existent. Unless now it's again oversteps by a tree line for you to kind of line up for a bushwhack, which has been how they've been finding some of these pickoffs here on Alliance's end. Some room now to shove up top as well for the side of Nouns, so they can start to maybe threaten onto that top jungle or just take it over themselves. Of course, they did lose their bot already, so they do need to equalize by taking this. And no defense coming out from Alliance. And this time, understanding once again that the early team fights just kind of tied in a little bit too much to Chaotic offering and a blink timing on Tiny. We'll just need to sit back and wait it out. Wait until these initial timings are met and just kind of let Nouns do what they want. Nouns, as long as they capitalize on this early tempo, this time around I can see them shutting out Alliance a little bit better. It's just, again, there are lots of concerns here for how much copy can get done. And once Gunner hits the blink, that aggression from Nouns should also kick into overdrive, and he's going to have his blink around the same time as Mobe, but the threat of a big arena is certainly a little bit bigger than the instant burst play onto 1 for Mobe, so long as you're playing as a group here on Nouns. Some recovery coming in here as well for Yuma. Already has the Mask of Madness, so can just right-click farm through camps quite nicely, has the Ancients nice and protected for himself. And again, for Alliance, it's just a matter of waiting. Stemming the bleeding, and again, just not giving Nouns the big kills they'd want to find. They'll go now with a smoke, though.
They shall. Gunner and Lilith, they are cutting off the mid lane here, Alliance. Maybe not anticipating this rotation. Gunner, another nice arena. He's found 2 targets. Terrorize is going to connect as well, so they'll run right into the walls as now the spear has been dropped. Gunner doing so much damage, and Mobe surely can't get out of this. He's still running. They do take down Desire and even Kadaro dropping in the mid lane. And Mobe, he gets a nice avalanche toss, but here comes Copy. And that'll be your Tiny. Set to fall. Gunner will claim the kill. And it's another perfect setup here with the arena. Gunner just constantly hitting these 2-man arenas, and it's making it impossible for Alliance to really hope to fight back.
And again, it just goes back to the difference in heroes and the difference in playstyle that these heroes bring out. When he had the Sand King for Gunner, he didn't opt for that faster blink. He wasn't looking for as many fights as he has been finding on this Mars. He gets the blink off from that fight. Even now, you can just even take these fights without the arena. Again, this Bristleback's not that tanky if he's speared up. Skylark will get the TP out in time, though. So they won't be able to find that nice, easy pickoff. But the threat is there. And again, for Alliance, it's not as comfy for them to sit back and farm when they do have stable frontline jump from Nouns that's willing to come in. Copy with a full Kaya up, has a little bit more mana sustain as well. A lot more output on our Storm. And again, this pivotal blink timing on Gunner just allows him to be all over the place to set up these team fights.
Just a 1k net worth lead for Nouns, but certainly the pace of the game is in their favor. Alliance desperately needing to find some more farm here for Nande. Gunner, he's going to run into Desire. Desire unable to get to the high ground with the sharpshooter. So that's going to be another nice easy pick off here. Lelis will take this one on the Dark Willow. Help him get a little bit closer to picking up that full Spirit Vessel on the Dark Willow. Meanwhile, a bit of a scan onto Kadaro. Looks like Fly was thinking about trying to go for that Wisdom Rune still, but realizes Kadaro's already there and does just decide to play the safer way and just back out.
Not really something you can safely jump in without spotting the rest of the Alliance heroes at the moment. And they do still have their own nice, safely tucked away Alliance again, not crossing the river for the most part here, having to play a lot slower this game around.
They're going to go for that Wisdom Rune still, but realizes Kadaro's already there and does just decide to play the safer way and just back out.
Not really something you can safely jump in without spotting the rest of the Alliance heroes at the moment. And they do still have their own nice, safely tucked away Alliance again, not crossing the river for the most part here, having to play a lot slower this game around. They are still getting space out for Nande, keeping up although.
Yeah, I mean, Mobe is going to be perfectly fine. There's not really much that comes out of this, apart from the rotations committed from Alliance. They are going to smoke off the back of this. They don't really want to waste all these TPs. They'll try to make something happen. Radiant Triangle's already been cleared out by Yuma, so they're not going to find anyone in that area. Though Yuma might run back to them. Or Desire, he should be able to find him, but Yuma's Spidey sense is tingling. He does back off, still Mobe dumps him for a nice avalanche toss combination right back into Desire. And Yuma is down. Of course, they will figure out there is a ward on the high ground now, but it doesn't matter. Alliance, they already got their value out of it.
They get the kill and they get the tier 1 mid. They can cut into the triangle a little bit quicker. Really good blink reveal out from Mobe as well. Just so happens that even though they don't find that mid, again, he still has that blink, wants to use it in a big way, and this is where Alliance starts to get a little bit more of a footing out. Still Skylark.
And Skylark in big trouble. No chance to get out of this. His teammates are just way too far away. Very nice pickup now from Nouns. Copy remaining at the top of the net worth board on this Storm Spirit, and it has still been uncontested. Like this Storm is having a very free game as they are going to try and move in and take down Gunner, and they do get him with the Eclipse. A nice pickup now for Alliance. But Nouns are bringing in numbers. They want to try for the Luna. In fact, they've got the jump in. Golem has been dropped though. Copy. He needs a way out of this. Requiem will fly in. He jumps back in after Nande, and Nande will go down, but the toss out does take down Copy to boot. So you do lose the Luna, but you take the mid-storm away. The chase continues here from Desire and Kadaro, but there is just too much of a gap now for Alliance, so they will be able to just kind of get back to the farm game. And overall, that was a better exchange for Alliance. They got a lot of gold, especially out of that Copy kill.
They managed to get that position. And maybe Skylark in a bit of a rough spot at the start, but the rest of the team are close enough to kind of get that follow-through fight. Great toss back to isolate Gunner. The arena with no spear just isn't as impactful. At that point, you really need that stun window to get that burst down here from the side of Alliance. And Copy just being so exposed up front. Like, again, I get the idea. They're still playing into their strengths here on Nouns, but it just felt like that connection for sure into the chaotic offering of Kidara is just a lot harder to see. And we're starting to see some of that impact from all of this AoE with the Fatal Bonds. That damage spread coming through from just your combinations with Tiny and Luna. It is still devastating. And Alliance have just always find these combinations on the Warlock. Fly.
Yeah, he's been caught again. Desire setting up, though. The TP away is not going to be enough. Nice attempt from Desire, but just not quite... Oh, excuse me, rather Fly, but not quite there. Gunner being jumped by Mobe. He's got an amp damage rune as well, so it's a lot of damage on this MOUZ. And Gunner, he'll drop the arena defensively, trying to get out. Mobe just trying to get close, but can't get there. Nande! Nande's gone down. Lelis and Copy, they were able to pick him off while they were chasing Gunner top lane, so a pretty big loss for Alliance, losing their POS 1.
Yeah, he was farming really aggressively across the river. There's vision here to punish from the side of Nouns, and they know all of that commitment was up top still.
Nice jump in from Obey. He clears that copy again. You know, it was a free storm game, but the Tiny's gotten to a stage now where he can blow you up in an avalanche toss, plus the double hit from the Echo Saber.
Yeah, it's just a lot of burst. He still had the amp damage rune running as well on Mobe. Just not the best of timings to contest that rune from Copy. Did manage to maximize it fully here for our Tiny despite missing out on Gunner up top. They take another tier 1 on the Alliance's end, and they have a slight net worth advantage. Very even game in terms of net worth, but considering what Nouns has drafted once more, right? You have an SF safe, you have this Mars offlane with the Storm mid. It still feels like the pressure is on Nouns to play a faster game. Instead, Alliance, they'll be able to find first Roche. And this time for them, if this ends up being a farming rush, you're actually pretty happy about that. You, again, want to stall this game out on Alliance anyway.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're having a great old time here with this Roshan. Side of Nouns not going to be able to contest at all. There'll be the Aegis now for Nande, and certainly so. I do believe Nande will just use it as a farming Aegis unless a big fight breaks out, and maybe he can utilize it for a fight, but overall, if he's able to farm without dying for the next 5 minutes, I'm sure he'll be more than happy to exchange the Aegis for that, because he is still relatively behind when it comes to the net worth on this Luna. And Nouns, we'll see if they want to try and play defensively now. I think they may realize the Luna's probably just going to use this as a farming Aegis anyway, so they could probably still hope to go for some smoke attempts.
And they can. And they're also lining up for their own BKB timings here on Nouns. Triple BKB can at least stop the impact of Mobe, but look at Alliance already smoking off of this Aegis here.
Oh, I like it. Nande's not with them, but he is nearby. Looks like they're going to try and use Nande as bait at the top lane. Alliance smoking to the far left side of the map. They're going to see the Ancients being stacked. But Nouns, their Spidey senses are tingling. They realize something is a little bit wrong here, and they do actually smoke up themselves now. Their Ancient stack is currently being taken by Skylark. The Skylark will take care of those stacks, no problem. BKB now fully available on Yuma. So they want to try and go for the surprise reveal here with this SF BKB. A bit of hesitation though from Nouns, hoping somebody will show up and farm top lane. But nobody currently showing. Gunner's going to have a scout around. But the closest target to them is Kadaro on the tree line, and even if you found Kadaro, that's not really the target you're looking for. So it does seem like this smoke is not really going to work out for anything.
No, it doesn't. Maybe they find a courier. There you go. Some wards being taken out at the very least, as Kadaro was trying to send it out. But really not much for their effort. At the least, you also don't reveal your BKB on Yuma, so that should still be a little bit of a surprise lined up here from Nouns. And again, you're not too far off from Gunner and Copy's BKBs either, within 100 gold now. So not too much longer to wait. And this is where things can maybe get a little bit more dangerous for Alliance. Again, they've been a little bit more reliant on Mobe to get this Blink Avalanche Toss combo off. With BKBs up, your only reliable stun at that point is a very well-timed chaotic offering from Kadaro. He's not the safest yet in this game. He does need that Glimmer Cape up to ensure he can stay in the backline without being hunted down by Copy. And we'll see if they can start to find these vulnerabilities as that triple BKB timing is now officially up for Nouns.
Here we go again. All up to Gunner. Like he's been getting these great arenas this game thus far. See if we can find another one here for Gunner. Oh, he's going to run into the Tiny. That's a great target. He'll land the spear first. He'll hold on to the arena. Copy's going to zip right forward, but Mobe, he gets his BKB off. In fact, there's a lot of damage on Copy. Needs to retreat now on the Storm, and he will do so as Gunner's running forward with his BKB, trying to find some more targets. Lelis will go down in the meantime. And everybody from Nouns, everybody else just TPs away as Gunner gets left behind. I wonder if it was worth just popping the arena for the Tiny kill. The spear proving not to be enough, and the follow-up was there.
I mean, it's the only target they can find. It's a very high-pressure area when your smoke breaks in that triangle. So I get why they just instantly commit. And you get the quick BKB usage out as well from Gunner. at the very least, Copy managed to hold on to his own BKBs. The sad thing about that for Nouns, like they tried to salvage it, maybe look for a trade on Kidaru. They couldn't even find the Warlock. He lived on like 50 HP. Lullas couldn't get the cleanup. So they really find nothing for their trouble. Aegis still stands. You revealed your triple BKB timing now to Alliance. So now they can kind of be a little bit more smart with Kidaru's chaotic offering golem usage when that BKB is committed instead. Not that Kidaru's been getting bad golems off anyhow. They build their 3k lead up now for Alliance, and without the surprise factor of triple BKBs, there is still play for Nouns, but it's just at that timing, you know, once you hit 25 minutes going into 30, 35, it just feels like Alliance gets bigger and bigger. You start to scale up in more impactful ways for Nande. You start to go beyond just the aura build-up for Skylark at that point. Once the Crimson's up, he can consider something like the Ags coming in. Maybe not Bloodstone, as you don't really have the quilts to spam out, but perhaps a BKB. If not the Aghanims, you start to feel really nice on your bristle as well as a secondary source of damage at that point. So it's concerning for now. It's that these movements, again, from Alliance are just ready for it.
Oh, zip forward Copy. He's going to try for a bristle. Skylark, though, looking pretty tanky now. Of course, Skylark did have both his supports nearby, so he's able to easily escape. The times are getting tougher and tougher here for Nouns. So you are starting to run out of answers in terms of dealing with these tankier heroes, and of course this whole time Nande's been free farm. Nande now at the top of the net worth board in this Luna. And this is the precise position Alliance wanted to be in this game too. And you're getting to a stage where he's going to have the Kanda up, John, and I'll tell you what, I was playing a pub against this damn Kanda Luna earlier, and it is not very fun. It really is not very fun.
It's so painful. It's just insane that this specific combination... I mean, it's so funny too, right? Remember, months before TI, it was all about Luna as well with Kanda build-up. It fades off.
Yep.
Right before TI, then people remember, oh, right, Luna Kanda, that's a great thing. And then it just comes back in. It's like, I can't believe we never nerfed the hell out of this. And people just forgot about it. And it's just bad.
At least it's not so busted, but it just... When you can spam Lucent Beams in a team fight, it's just so painful over time.
It's also the matter of, I believe we saw Luna be really popular with Kanda before we got Facets, right? So when people realized Lucent Beam Moonstorm was really insane, it just gave extra value to the Kanda. Because you are just spamming Lucent Beams for extra damage on your right click anyhow. And in fact, it encourages this pseudo-hybrid reliance on Eclipse as well. So it just really ties the hero in for a lot of damage from every source, physical and magical. It's just a bit too much. It's kind of funny too, right? Like before, we used to talk about Lina being the hybrid magic right-click carry. Now it's just back to Luna. Yeah, it's like Luna and Lina. What's up with these two, you know, one-letter change names that have almost the same kind of role nowadays?
True. Very true, John. Nouns. Grouped up still, but looking pretty... kind of afraid right now, Nouns, I think. Maybe assuming Alliance might be coming for them, but Alliance is still taking their time to allow Nande more and more gold to come in. No need to rush this game at all. In fact, Roshan's maybe going to spawn in 25 seconds. We'll find out very soon. And now it's taking the time to get some farm up themselves, but again, they have fallen behind here. We haven't seen too much presence from Yuma either. Like, Yuma's been relatively quiet this game. Here we go. Top lane, they are grouped up, but the top T2 tower, it is well defended. In fact, Alliance are rushing towards them. Copy could be in pretty big danger, but he does get the zip away. And Yuma, he will TP immediately upon seeing the Tiny. Oh, that was close. That was very, very close.
Yeah. If only he was a little bit closer to jump onto the actual storm, you'd have a nice free kill. Still, there's a big timing here for Nouns that I think they cannot underestimate on Alliance. Gunnar is trying to rush out Sight of Vice now. So, Blink initiation with a Sight should lead to much better control, of course. Like, you Spear 2 with your Shard, once that's also up for Gunnar. And things start to look a little bit more controllable if you can find that.
They were 1 second away from seeing Roshan respawn on Alliance. They literally left the pit as there was 1 second
Desire.
left.
Get it done, Desire. There you go.
It's always the supports, John. You know, the supports, they've got to think about these things. The carries, all they see is creeps. That's all they see.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, would you be happy with your carry just standing in Roche instead of
You know
farming?
what, John? Maybe I would. Maybe I would. Maybe I'll carry the game. Maybe I could, you know, afford that Glimmer Cape if there was a camp left in the jungle, John. Not that that just happened or anything, I'm just saying.
Into the Roche they go. With Goo, this does not take too long. The Roar should reveal it. Of course, Nouns are aware they'll take a tier 1 in exchange. But you're going to be very pleased with yourselves here on Alliance to get second Roche, Aegis, and Banner. And now the threat on high ground is very much real. With Banner up, you don't have great reach into the backline to deal with Banner as well. Let's see what the game plan is for Nouns. Again, they're still kind of waiting for the sight of Vice on Gunner. Still a ways off. So still needs some time to farm up. Maybe they can try to find some pun if anyone sneaks in for tier 2s. But as we've seen from Alliance, they really don't care about the initial tier 2s. They allow at least 2 to fall before they maybe care.
Yeah. Alliance, they'll just smoke up behind Nande. So they are going to now commit for that tier 2 mid tower. A question of whether Nouns want to try and defend this tier 2 or maybe just even wait for the high ground attempt. Thing is, Nande looks ready to go. Like, I think you do just commit for high ground if you are Alliance here. You've got everything you could possibly ask for. And they are going to try and start chipping away. Nouns, in the meantime, they are chipping away at the bottom tier 2 tower, and Yuma will get it done, but here come the tier Bs to defend. They'll force the glyph first. Can they find the jump they're looking for? Mobay, he's the first one in, and that's Lila Scott. It is just that easy for Mobay, as they are going to try and jump the Tiny now. Mobay, he's a tanky target. He will just casually, slowly walk his way out. But now he has no BKB. The problem is he may not need it because he just blows you up with Avalanche Toss anyway.
Yeah. And the nerf Crash Landing, just not enough. Even cancels the TP. Even just walking around healing up, of course, from Kidaro. Just like that, the Rax is gone. They don't even need to commit. Banner still up on Kidaro. And look, I appreciate Yuma going for the full Silver Edge this time. Getting break on Tiny is actually meaningful because of that damage reduction from Craggy. It's just, I don't know where the damage is supposed to be coming from. It's hard to line up for a good Requiem, knowing that there's BKBs as well on the side of Alliance. You don't have a blink to get on top of the Requiem. Physical SF just kind of takes time to really ramp up. You don't have that time right now in Nouns.
Alliance going to retreat once again. Maybe start on the top lane, just knowing that there was no defense that really showed up for that mid lane Rax. Tier 2 tower is still standing, so they'll go ahead and take care of that. Seems like Nouns are going to try and pressure the bottom lane once again and maybe force a defense back from Alliance. But Alliance could just make the choice to keep going. Right? I mean, it's just, you can push the bottom lane as much as you want, but if you're not going to commit for the push, I don't see Alliance needing to back off. And in fact, they are committing. They'll smoke behind Nande again. Still 2.5 minutes on the Aegis timer. Disruption out. They're going to try and jump the Bristleback first, but he's still fine. Instead, Nande now the target, but Nande, he'll get the Eclipse off in time on the Luna, and that is Fly just deleted. That's one down, but Fly's going to buy back. Lelis also going down. Meanwhile, Copy is down. Skylark surviving all of it. Just no chance in hell of killing off anyone from Alliance, apparently. Do you want to give up the Aegis? Nande says no. He'll go reset with the Mask of Madness first. And probably a couple of Shadow Word spams here from Kidaro.
I mean, you have nothing to be scared of now. No arena, no initiation. Gunner manages to get that jump. Does not pin Nande down. A great Manta BKB usage from the Luna. And that's just your window.
Oh, Fly brought back, but that's an immediate dieback on the Shadow Demon. Not much you can do about it here for Fly. That's a secondary Rax down, and of course Alliance now smelling blood in the water. They will go for a third lane of barracks. Yuma, I mean, he's going to make a miracle happen here on this SF with Gunner, but it's looking pretty impossible. But we shall see. Respawn time is alluring, John. 10 seconds for Copy, 1 second for Lelis. They're going to jump in, but oh, a nice Manta dodge from Nande. They've got the MOUZ locked down, and Gunnar, he's losing a lot of HP. Should go down perhaps to another loosened beam out from our Luna. And Gunnar, oh, he's still alive. Just barely, but not for long. Desire takes him out. As they'll commit a terrorize now from Lelis, but it does nothing. Just delays it for a couple of seconds. Delays the inevitable, that is. So now the buyback from Gunnar. Arena down. He's going to try one last time with the BKB activist. Copy now. Going to zip right through onto Nande. They're trying to chip away, but look at the damage from Obey. Copy cannot stand there and take it. Gunnar's going to die back immediately, and that should be it. The game is almost certainly over here for the side of Nouns. They will not call it yet. They've still got 4 heroes up, but they are up against Mega Creeps. And Alliance, they're going to let them enjoy the Megas for a little bit. Or are they?
No.
No, never mind. They don't even want to give them that.
No, the insanity in all of that is they never had to use Roche Banner. They isolated Skylark with Arena when he was half HP, but because Copy goes for a different target in the backline trying to get Nande, they have no damage. It's just not connecting from Nouns. They'll try again one last time, it looks like.
Now they'll give it a crack. Copy, though, just locked down immediately, and Mobay will just delete him as now Nande takes the Eclipse and puts it right up Yuma as the GG is called. And what can you do? Alliance proving to be too good today here up against Nouns. And John, I said this yesterday and the day before, but